During the last school year, volunteers from throughout Houston, including many HISD employees, participated in the Read Houston Read program. Volunteers spent at least an hour each week mentoring and reading to first graders. This was all part of a pilot program to support HISD's Literacy by 3 movement. Literacy by 3 is designed to have every child reading on grade level by the end of 3rd grade. HISD, along with several community partners, including the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation, are strongly committed to this endeavor. Joining me today to discuss Read Houston Read's mission and improving literacy is HISD's curriculum specialist, Colton, and the co-chairman of the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation, Neil Bush. Thank you both for joining me today. We know that Read Houston Read is a huge initiative with HISD. Carly, can you tell me what impact that program had on our first graders this year?
Absolutely. So we've certainly helped to make better readers out of our first graders that have participated in the program. And while doing so, they have been able to build a relationship with another reader, which has fostered their love for reading while engaging in books that build upon their comprehension, the vocabulary.
I was there for the kickoff, and we know, that was an amazing event, and everyone was excited about it, and we were able to engage partners like Neil. So tell us a little bit, Neil, about your experience with your reader this year.
Well, first of all, it was probably the most joyful thing I did all week. I have a very hectic schedule working on the Barbara Bush Houston Literacy Foundation work and trying to make a living on the side, but every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, I had an appointment to call in via an online program called TutorMate, which is a beautifully designed system that helps me kind of navigate through working with my little student, Savannah. And every time I'd call the class, some little kid would answer the phone and say, oh, you called Mrs. Rodriguez's class at Scarborough Elementary, who do you want to? And so I'd say, I'd like to speak with Savannah, please. And Savannah would almost literally run to the phone to get to the headsets. And I would navigate with Savannah using my mouse and stuff to kind of go through a prescribed set of exercises, including word recognition, and then she read me a book that she would choose. And then I'd say, okay, what game do you want to play, Savannah? She'd say tic-tac-toe every time because she beat me in tic-tac-toe like half the time. I tied the other half and never beat her once. But she was so cute. And so I was curious about the same question. Did I really help Savannah? And we had a chance to have a year-end meeting with the 2 other tutors. And I went to Scarborough Elementary School, met Savannah, and the teacher said she really showed improvement during the year, and she credits the intervention, my intervention in helping. And that just brings me great joy. And it was easy to do, 30 minutes once a week. I wish I could do it more often because it was so much fun to do.
So you, in her excitement, you also saw some improvement in her zeal to read.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So the Barbara Bush Foundation launched connect4literacy.org. Tell us how this program has supported literacy in Houston and the Houston reading program.
Well, first of all, just to set a little context, there's a crisis in Houston related to literacy. It's a crisis that too few of our citizens of all ages are at an age-appropriate level of literacy. And there are different ways that we need to address it. We need to address it through coalitions, we need to address it through collaborations, and we need to increase capacity for vital services, through the use of volunteers. And I applaud HISD from Terry Greer through the board and all the way down into the ranks. There's a real desire to have interventions come from outside of schools into schools to help teachers. It's an impossible task it's a hard task to imagine being successful with, having so many kids with disparate interests, trying to be taught by a single teacher. And so to have the intervention come in, and so Connect for Literacy is an effort to raise an army of volunteers. We have 22 volunteer using service providers, including HISD elementary schools, are signed up to use our service, and volunteers sign up. So it's basically a volunteer management platform where volunteers can find opportunities to help struggling first graders through Read Houston Read, or help adults at the upper end of the system, that are struggling to learn to read as well.
Well, certainly we see the value in that in HISD, and we're happy to be partners there, because without literacy, there is no other learning. It's the foundation of all other learning. So
you're 100%
we
right.
are certainly glad to help and be a partner with that. Carly, can you tell us, now that school is out, what can be done throughout the summer so that these children do not lose that, what we call reading ability over the summer, and I think we've termed it Summer Slide.
The Summer Slide, yes. So actually 18 of our Read Houston Read campuses are continuing on with the program through the summer. So that's one way that we can keep those students engaged. Another way, the flip kits that are used throughout the program that have been provided by the Children's Museum of Houston, they're available at all of the Houston Public Library locations. So parents can take their kids to the library, check out the most loved flip kits that they've experienced throughout the year, and go through them with their parents at home. They're available from an age as early as 3 years old all the way up to 2nd grade. So there's a range there. The other thing is choice reading is so important for students over the summer to read books of their choice. And so that's another way. And then of course to see their parents reading, that's another way to influence students and really create that love for reading.
Absolutely. Well, Neil, can you tell us about Lifting Through Literacy, because I know that's a summer program that you guys are engaging in to help with the Summer Slide as well.
Right. Well, Lifting Through Literacy is a program that's been initiated in Independence Heights with a real strong advocate for literacy in that community, Reverend Ray Mackey. And he's working with an alliance of pastors who are implementing a summer program that is kind of being bolstered by scholastic books and scholastic work materials. So the kids are coming from the local elementary schools, working through the local churches, and they're kind of addressing this summer slide, you know, in a really pragmatic kind of way. So then when kids go to the summer programs, literacy is kind of the focus. And our goal is to use this kind of initial effort, Lifting Through Literacy, to start to bring a coalition of stakeholders together in Independence Heights, you know, which is a historically African American neighborhood with struggling kids, with lots of drug dealers on the street corners and those kinds of conditions, but bring the neighborhood together to say we've got to do something about literacy. The foundation, like you said so beautifully, Ron, is the foundational skill. If you can't read at an age-appropriate level, you can't possibly realize your God-given potential. So it has to start. If we're going to try to address poverty or issues that are critical to the survival and health of a neighborhood, you've got to start with taking the first step by helping people be literate. So we're hoping to build kind of a neighborhood coalition that will address these issues of bringing services to help kids be better prepared for kindergarten and help teachers all the way through 3rd grade so kids can read to learn from 4th grade on.
Wow, that's nice. So Carly, what's the next step going into the 2nd year of Read Houston Read? How do we plan to expand the program and go into the 2nd year with what kind of goals and efforts?
Okay, so we are definitely planning to strengthen and deepen the program, knowing that we got a good start within our 1st year of the pilot, and we are expanding to reach more students, whether that be reaching into our 2nd grade students, so carrying on with those students that are already working with Read Houston Read or have been in this past year, and then also reaching out into some other campuses.
It seems that the basis of this is going to be not just the school district or the teachers in the classrooms, but certainly partners outside and throughout the city. So if someone's interested in being a part of the Read Houston program, what should they do in order to get involved?
So we direct all volunteers to our webpage that is called readhoustonread.com. Is where they can go, and through that it will direct them whether they want to be an in-person volunteer or a face-to-face volunteer, and then take them to the Connect for Literacy website where they'll register with Connect for Literacy, and then there's some easy orientation videos that they can do. So everything can really be done online as far as the registration and the training for that. So.
Great. Well, thank you both for being here and sharing with us this morning, and we certainly are appreciative of your partnership and all the hard work that your department has put into this program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rhonda.